Welcome back. As promised, today we're going to leave the realm of theory and dreams and enter a more concrete, tangible world. The world of implementation. Let me make this clear from the get-go. This isn't going to be an easy project. I want to use this video to give a good idea of what we want to accomplish on a more tangible level and make it clear just how much we're trying to tackle. As I am primarily a writer, I'll begin with problems that will arise in the production of words. For this, I'll need to make clear how conversation types work. Keep in mind that these are working titles for conversation categories and are subject to change. With that disclaimer out of the way, the first type of conversation, and most important, is the plot conversation. These conversations cover the main story arcs of the characters in the waking world. The second type of conversation is a trivial conversation. These events would happen when criteria for the next story conversation have not been met, but the player tries to interact with the character in question nonetheless. This should be quite common, really, but the player should still learn something or do something fun with the character they're trying to interact with. The third type of conversation is dubbed small talk. These conversations would be shorter than trivial types and would have simplified responses. Justice would have about 1 or 2 different opportunities to respond throughout the span of the conversation. Compare that to a trivial or story event that would provide about 4 to 6 different opportunities to ask questions and lead the event one way or the other. These 3 events make up the bulk of the conversation types with characters. So, with that set in stone, let's give them a few attributes. Let's say that a plot event is somewhere around 20 to 40 pages of script writing. Trivial events are around half that. Then, small talk would be about 5 to 10 pages. I don't want to punish players for wanting to interact with one character, and just that one, so there needs to be unique writing for a whole game year's worth of gameplay. That can easily come to thousands of pages of scripts on its own. However, keep in mind that conversations should make sense in context with story events, and if a player ends the route early, then all events that happen after that have to make sense relative to that last event. Then there's unique events for holidays, interactions between main characters, flavor text, battle taunts, teachers, NPCs littered around the school, writing inside the bubbles. Point is, there's a lot to write. And that's just one facet of the game. Here's another. Programming. The Waking Worlds movement is trivial to design, however, it's when applying the conversation interface to that things get difficult. Ideally, in-game, any artist should be able to import backgrounds and sprites, any musician should be able to import sound effects and background music, and any writer should be able to use those assets and make a conversation scene which can be exported, passed to another version of the game, and loaded to preview. That's complex. But once it's done, it's just tweaking it and cleaning up the code in the background as bugs arise. The dreaming world is another beast entirely. For the gameplay here, maps need to be designed that allow for more free-roaming movement that takes advantage of 2.5D properties. Further, there needs to be a more complex interaction system if we want there to be special interactions between key items and gates of various kinds. Finally, and most importantly, the battle system, it needs to be a thing. But we'll go into those deets another day. Writing and programming are like the bones of the game. If these portions make the skeleton, then what we're missing is the aesthetic flesh. In layman's terms, we need art. It's all well and good to have a working game, but without something to bring it to life, well, it doesn't feel like much at all. And, like all things worth having, visual art takes time and effort. A properly tiling background could take ages to look just right. The same applies to fluid-looking sprites or any sort of animation. Just looking at the main characters, if we want decently sized sprites that give a less abstract look and feel, that kind of work takes time and effort on an astronomical level. Then blow that up further if we are to include non-generic NPCs. And let's not forget about organizing styles. We're gonna have a mash of different techniques from various artists, so we'll just have to develop a way to manage them as we go. The dreaming world should take advantage of this chimeric approach. If we really want to draw out the unique aspects of characters in their world, then unique art styles need to be adapted for individual characters anyway. Creature sprites, NPC sprites, objects to pepper the background, tiles for combat. The more people working on this, the merrier. That is, if we can figure out a good way to make sure something fits the style of the game, which, by the way, implies any user needs to be able to upload and share files around so that people can see what their images look like in-game. But that's, just something that I'm trying to work together with on the editor, and don't worry about that. But let's not forget the user interface. That needs to be designed not just logically, but visually as well. The interface needs to match the theme of the area that the player is currently in so it doesn't dissonate with its surroundings. Further, the menus should feel intuitive, visually pleasing, and match the art style of the game as a whole. And if that's not enough, I hardly know how to categorize music. Yet. I know that background themes need to be designed, and that I want unique leitmotifs to follow specific characters, and also for there to be a main theme that gets laced through pieces, but I don't exactly know how to speak to musicians about what I want, and that's a problem in itself. All these problems are serious issues, but still more will rear their heads as we try to make this game. That said, I know we can persevere and complete this. With time and unerring effort, any problem, no matter how difficult, can be resolved. Right now, we have nothing but a few very unprofessional videos and a dream. I've painted a picture on a blank canvas that hopefully will help to inspire. I want to create a game, yes, but more than that, I want to create a community. I say we, not meaning me and my cohorts. I want to share this journey of discovery with you all. Not only that, I want you to help us along the way. We may be small now, but I have a vision that one day our group together will make something amazing. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. But either way, we shall proceed. All I can hope is that you're willing to put a little bit of you in us. In any case, you deserve to meet the initial team. There are so many people already that I need to thank for being with me and helping me through the rough beginning, and they deserve a moment in the limelight, should they so desire it. Next video, I want to give you a formal introduction to the small team of volunteers who I can thank greatly for their contribution and support. But I think you have enough to chew on for now. In watching this video, you're already donating so much to us, and I can't thank you enough. This has been your resident roleplayer, ReedRGale, and I hope to see you again next time.